Imagine this, an airplane zigzags through the sky, barely makes it to the runway, and who's at the helm? An 11-year-old girl, believe it or not. Turns out, every passenger on board had been poisoned, including the pilot. This young aviator, unscathed, navigates the landing like a pro. But, as the cops swarm in, she's already a ghost, a mystery kid vanishing into thin air. Cut to her escaping into the bustling cityscape, hitching a ride with the world's most clueless cabbie. As they chatter away, she drops that her dad's casually on a business trip, just out in space. No biggie, she's off to grandma's house, as if she just landed from a fairy tale and not a near disaster. In the middle of their talk, bam! A squirrel darts into the road. Our heroic driver slams the brakes, and what does our pint-sized pilot do? Leaps out to save the furry intruder without missing a beat. Just another day for our little mystery hero. Oh, what a ride. Our heroine, swift as a fox, scoops up a squirrel in distress, and commandeers a getaway car. Yes, you heard right, a car. With a driver on board, no less, whom she swiftly instructs to cradle the critter. Then she takes the wheel, slicing through traffic with a parking maneuver so slick, it could make a seasoned stunt driver green with envy. Upon arrival in her grandmother's village, the plot thickens. Before even finding grandma's place, she bumps into Casper, the local dumpster diver, rummaging for treasures in the trash. With a heart as big as her driving nerve, she hands over some cash to Casper, who was more than grateful for this unexpected boon. But here's where things take a turn. Grandma's greeting isn't exactly what you'd call warm. Turns out, she's not keen on surprise visits, or revisiting painful memories of her daughter, Rocka's mom. But Rocka, unfazed by the chilly welcome, she claims her mother's old room, turns it into her own cozy nook complete with twinkling lights, and not to forget, sets up a comfy spot for her furry friend in a pot. She even places a sentimental photo of her and her father, casting a glow in her newfound sanctuary. Ah, the resilience of youth, sprinkled with a touch of defiant charm. Life in Rocka's world is never ordinary. Last night, her bedroom transformed into a canvas of creativity as she hopped around the bed and went rogue with a pen on the wall. Who needs wallpaper when you have artistic flair, right? But that's just the warm-up. With a flick of her wrist, the room twinkled with new star stickers, turning her hammock into the perfect chill zone for stargazing. Then, the magic dialed up a notch as Rocka made a direct call to NASA. Yes, you heard that right. Connecting instantly with her dad, who's casually orbiting Earth, they shared a cosmic video chat. Floating in the great vacuum, her dad's view of our blue planet had Rocka wide-eyed and absolutely hooked. Talk about a long-distance call. Meanwhile, back on Earth, a squirrel's mischief woke Grandma in a frenzy. After a spirited chase, which ended with Grandma on the floor and out of commission, Rocka discovered the rascally rodent, unscathed. Brushing off the morning's chaos, Rocka prepped for school, oblivious to Grandma's tumble. Ah, to be young and unfazed. Meanwhile, a drama unfolds. A group of mean girls are on the prowl, targeting a solitary student. Like a scene from a teen movie, they snap a photo of the girl, swiftly crafting a series of nasty memes. From her corner, Rocka witnesses this debacle but holds back, her heart going out to the victim. Then the teacher swoops in, spots Rocka, the fresh face, and cues everyone for an intro round. As luck would have it, they form a circle and start the icebreaker, only for Rocka's hidden secret to crash the party. Out of nowhere, a squirrel, yes, a squirrel, emerges from Rocka's backpack, creating a stir. Without missing a beat, Rocka declares she needs to step out for a bit to fetch some milk for her furry buddy. The teacher, absolutely flabbergasted and clearly never having dealt with such a scenario, gives her the nod. Excited the class, she addressed the bullying girl who was standing in the circle. Roa came home to find out that her grandmother had fallen and needed to be hospitalized for treatment. However, the grandmother continued to be indifferent to the little girl's feelings. After her grandmother left home, Roa had to live alone shortly after. Her neighbors who lived in the adjacent house came to visit her. The two children attended the same school as her and now they brought her homework from school, but Roa instead encouraged them to go out and play by saying if we weren't home we couldn't do our homework. It seemed logical and they left the house. Intrigued, they went to the city and then to the riverside where everyone else avoided the homeless. While nobody approached these people, Roa led her friends over and greeted the homeless people. She was even willing to shake their hands and hug them as normal people would have done to each other, but the children were frightened and urged her to leave. Roka borrowed wood and barrels from the homeless to construct a raft so they could cross the river. After building one, the children had a blast on. Oh, what a splashtastic return journey on the raft. The kids made quite the scene, splashing around and having the time of their lives, until they got the classic mom scolding back at the house. But have no fear, Roa was there to save the day, smoothing things over with some quick talking. Skipping half a day of class can be quite the gamble, but Roa was back at school the next day. And guess what? Rocka stole the show, giving a perfect preview of the teacher's spiel on water treatment. Ever wondered where astronauts' sweat and urine go on the International Space Station? They recycle it into drinking water. Yes, you heard that right. While the teacher's talk might have had some students distracted, playing with their phones, the moment she shared her personal experiences, everyone was all ears, gazing at her in total admiration. Post-lesson, Roa found herself in a little tete-a-tete with the school head. Concerned about Rocka's living situation, he considered calling in the big guns, child services. But for Rocka, that felt a bit too nosy. Just then, Rocka spotted a fellow student in trouble and made a swift exit from the headmaster's office, ready to jump into action.
Imagine this. A typical day at school, when suddenly, drama strikes. A harasser trips over a backpack, smacks their head on the floor. Ouch. But have no fear, because Rocka is here. With a backpack stuffed to the zippers with first aid goodness, she swoops in faster than you can say, Band-Aid. By the time the sirens of the paramedics echo through the hallway, Rocka has already wrapped, iced, and elevated, earning a nod of approval from the pros. Meanwhile, the headmaster strolls in, fashionably late, and exchanges some snarky banter with our hero. Rocka, not one to miss a beat, grabs a megaphone, rallies the troops, students, and kicks off an impromptu game right smack in the middle of the schoolyard. She draws a colossal circle on the ground, and voila, it's game time. The gameplay was simple. Step into the circle if the shoe, or question, fits. From cat owners to finger suckers, the crowd was loving it. But then came the zinger. Who's intentionally upset a classmate? Cue the crickets. Talk about a plot twist. The silence was deafening, but hey, nothing like a game to reveal the secrets we hide, right?
Imagine this, a boy timidly steps into a circle, soon followed by a parade of his classmates, all looking like they'd just been caught stealing cookies. Clearly, guilt was written all over their faces. Watching this, the headmaster realized something powerful. A moment of self-awareness beats a marathon lecture any day. Fast forward, and we find Rocka visiting her hospitalized grandma. Plot twist, her arrival accidentally triggers a squirrel sighting that reminds grandma of a painful fall. Poor Rocka, blamed for bringing nothing but trouble. Talk about being misunderstood. After Rocka leaves, grandma's buddies didn't hold back, giving her an earful for being so harsh. In a tender revelation, grandma shares the pain of losing her daughter, Rocka's mother. Her friends gently remind her that Rocka's in the same grieving boat. Back at Rocka's place, she runs into Casper, the friendly neighborhood homeless man. Over time, they've struck up a quirky friendship through small acts of kindness. Today, Rocka turns host and whips up a savory pancake for Casper, right in her home. Humor, heartache, and pancakes, just an ordinary day in Rocka's world. In a twist fit for a sitcom, Rocka and Casper cooked up a quick scheme to keep her out of foster care. Casper wrapped himself in a blanket, doing his best dad impersonation when child services showed up. Smooth going until Casper's belly betrayed him over a slice of pizza. Busted by hunger, the worker, catching on, promised to report back to child services. After her exit, Casper slipped away, but not without leaving a heartfelt note for Rocka, clearly touched by the charade they played. Next up, Rocka turned storyteller, spinning tales of outer space about her astronaut dad to her classmate, sweeping them off their feet into galactic adventures until, oh, the drama, a lost space signal ended the playdate. That night, Rocka wasn't completely solo. A furry squirrel kept her company. The saga continued the next day when Rocka, in a woodland exploration with her new squirrel sidekick, bumped into Max. In a gallant move, he offered her a ride on his bike, whisking her off on yet another unexpected turn in her adventure-filled life. In a gripping twist that could well be out of a movie script, Rocka was frantically searching for a guardian as the chilling prospect of foster care loomed. Interview after interview, she found no takers, until, lightbulb moment, she remembered Casper. Together with her friend, they combed the city and voila, there was Casper, lurking in the shadows of her own neighborhood. Plot twist, Casper, a lawyer haunted by his past, initially balks at the idea. He'd traded his family for a briefcase and gavel, a swap he regretted deeply. Rocka, with the wisdom beyond her years, reassures him, loss shapes us but shouldn't chain us. Fast forward to the court hearing, which sounds more like a high-stakes drama. Roa, the little hero, faces the bleak possibility of foster care. But wait, her class teacher storms in, armed with a compelling piece of news, a newspaper headlining Roa's heroics in saving 180 lives. Just as the audience holds its breath, enter Casper, no longer the brooding ex-lawyer but Roa's knight in a sharply pressed suit, ready to fight. And that, folks, is a cliffhanger leaving us all cheering for the underdog.
Casper, a sharp lawyer, quickly wrapped up a minor ordeal, convincing both a worker and a judge to designate the class teacher as Rocka's guardian. A triumph that filled Rocka with joy. Casper, feeling renewed, ditched his beard and donned a suit, poised to embrace life anew. He unveiled his plan to Rocka: sell his house and funnel the proceeds into a charity for the homeless. Inspired, Rocka sparked a movement at school, rallying her classmates to collect empty bottles for the cause. Come Friday, the school was abuzz as kids wheeled in loads of bottles. Rocka, seizing the moment, grabbed the megaphone and sparked a lively exchange, with people candidly sharing their strengths and vulnerabilities. Amidst a myriad of confessions, a universal truth emerged. Despite their flaws, everyone's hearts brimmed with love. The icing on the cake, Dodo Grandma catching sight of Rocka's heartfelt appeal on TV, sealing the moment with a profound realization of Rocka's deep affection for her.